Thank you for your interest in Reports AI. If you're an organization that cares about sustainability, then this platform is for you. When it comes to sustainability, it's all about getting more out than you put in. But for impact organizations, what you get out isn't just money. So it's very hard to quantify that you're getting more out for the money that's put in. So that's why platforms like Reports AI are so important, because we're helping you to quantify your impact and to show that. And that's really what sustainability comes down to, is can you show that you're getting more out than what you put in? So you need to really be able to show your impact. And that is our mission at Reports AI, is to help you show that impact, because you know you're doing amazing work on the ground. We know you're doing amazing work on the ground, but do your donors, do your stakeholders, do they know about the amazing work that you're doing on the ground? And you really need to show that in a way that is quantifiable. So that is really what Reports AI is all about. So let me just quickly show you the platform. It's a browser-based app, so you can just come to reports-ai.app. So it's very easy to access. What's great about this is that there's no lengthy deployment. You can just come straight to reports-ai.app, reports-ai.app, and access the power of the most up-to-date and powerful AI tools instantly, no lengthy deployments. And also, we're always keeping this platform maintained. So obviously, all maintenance comes from our side. We're always ensuring that it's constantly evolving with the very fast-moving AI space. We're always staying on top of what the best models are for different tasks and constantly incorporating that into the platform. That's what makes this platform so strong, and makes it more interesting than trying to implement things in-house, which then become kind of stagnant and they don't keep up with this very fast-moving sector. So this is what the platform looks like when you first get in. To make you understand how we work, I'm going to use a metaphor. So if you look at this side panel here, this top part is a chatbot and this bottom part is knowledge bases. And the way I want you to kind of think of the way this platform operates is that this is the memory of your organization. We're going to allow you to curate an institutional memory within this platform. And this is where that gets stored within knowledge bases. And then how do you leverage and pull insights from that memory? We use the chatbot up the top here where you can interact with those knowledge bases. So this is kind of the brain, this is the memory, and then these are some of the features in between that allow you to do grant proposals, reporting, to save your report drafts, look at the different tasks that you've assigned to people to collect data, notes that you've attached to tasks and to report projects. Those are all kind of in between. And then this part, my organization, is just where you're describing your organization, where you add users, things like that. So just to get the overall picture of what we're doing, we're allowing you to curate an institutional memory and then to leverage that using the power of AI. So let me just touch on my organization really quickly. So I have this platform set up as a demo account. So it's Moja Health, is a fictional NGO that they work in Kenya and they implement the Safe Births program. So we just ask you for a description on your organization, which you can put in here. You can also put your website URL and we can actually pull information from there. You can come view which plan that you're on and adjust which plan, AI credits, things like that in my plan. And then you can also add users. See that right now I'm the only user within this platform, but I could add more users here if I wanted to. Just name, email, role. Role description helps the platform understand, okay, what does this person do? Gives it some context. So when you're assigning tasks, that helps. And then admin versus normal is just admins have a lot more power to add additional users, change the pricing plan. All those kinds of things can be done by an admin, but not by a normal user. So, right, that's that covered. And so what I'm going to do is actually, before we even get into reporting, I want to jump to knowledge bases because this is a very important part. What always comes first as an organization is organizing your institutional knowledge, because this is really the asset of your organization. is your data. It's all the things that you know and your expertise as an organization. And so often organizations aren't really leveraging that. It's all saved across separate machines. Best case, it's in a shared Google Drive, but it's not really accessible to everyone. If somebody wanted to access that information, they might have to go digging through documents. That's going to take them up to an hour reading through different stuff and trying to cross-reference. They might have to go speak to someone to ask someone who actually worked on a particular project for feedback. And if someone leaves an organization, then often that knowledge walks out the door with them. So we're trying to solve for that. We're trying to help people actually centralize all that knowledge into one place where it can then be accessible for your whole organization, that you can pull insights, pull learnings, and just like grow and improve as an organization. It's so important in the modern day with this kind of technology that organizations are really leveraging that asset, which is their institutional knowledge. That is all your expertise, all your knowledge. So let me just quickly show you what this looks like. We allow you to essentially create different, what we call knowledge bases, but you can kind of think of them like folders of documents. I've got one for Emoja Health, which is the overall organization of this platform. So I've got some documents saved in there, but then they implement the Safe Births program. So I've got information on the Safe Births program Kenya saved in here, and then Uganda, Tanzania in separate folders. You can have as many of these knowledge bases as you like. It's as easy as this to create one. You just click up here, give it a name, a description. Visibility is to do with within your platform. So if you make it to the workspace, it's to within this particular workspace on the platform. Pro users can have multiple workspaces within one platform. So that's why you have visibility to the workspace like that. So then once you've created a new knowledge base, it will look similar to something like this, but it will be empty. But if I just click into one of these, you can see where you can just add files. So you would just choose the files that you wanted to add to the knowledge base and then import them, and it's going to pull the relevant data points from those files. And what's really amazing about this is that if you're an admin user, you can actually like curate your institutional memory. So you could come here, you've got like annual progress reports, log frames, etc. saved in here. I can actually come and view the data points that have been extracted by the model. So you can kind of see how the model sees your data. So it's kind of, what these models do is they essentially break down information into chunks, separate relevant chunks, because when it then comes to actually calling on that data, it just pulls the chunks that are relevant to what it needs to do essentially. So that's why it chunks out the data like this. So you can come in here and you can actually make edits and adjust the institutional memory of your organization in real time, which is really powerful. If you ever needed to just update a piece of information, you can come in here, do that. So again, it's like you're able to curate this over time, so it's extremely powerful. So yeah, that's what it looks like. And it can be audio files, it can be videos, it can be images, it can be Excel files, PDFs, Word. Like we work with all file types. So yes, that's knowledge bases, but then that's the memory. So then now let's jump to the brain. So we jump up to the top and it will have the name of your organization and then AI. And this is a chatbot. But what's really powerful about this chatbot in difference to others is that you can choose what knowledge base it's using as context to answer your questions. So it really allows you to drill down into particular parts of your institutional knowledge, which is extremely powerful for any organization. So you can basically choose, you could just choose all of these if you wanted to, just select all and reference the knowledge base as a whole. But it's more powerful in terms of the outputs you can get if you drill down into specific knowledge bases. So you're kind of drilling down into a particular topic. So if I want to drill down into the Safe Births program Kenya, I can just save that, and then I can start chats. So you just create a new conversation here. We call them threads. You just start new conversations. Let's look at some that I've done. So like, what are the main KPIs of the Safe Births program? You see, you get instant feedback rather than having to go dig through all those files. You've just probably saved yourself an hour or so from having to dig through files to find out that information. And what have been the main learnings? This is something that's always really tough because you have to not only dig through one file, you're probably digging through multiple files and trying to cross-reference and try and pull out what the main learnings of a program was. And here you just get a response instantly, and it's very in-depth. So just think how powerful that is for your team, especially imagine if you didn't work on a particular project and now the person who did work on that project has left your organization and you're wondering what were the main learnings from this and how am I meant to find that information. You just come here, ask the chatbot, and you get the feedback instantly. So you can start to see just how powerful the learning can be for your organization. And we've really stress tested this. We've uploaded hundreds of scientific research papers, big scanned PDF documents, and it's able to cross-reference and pull interesting insights on scientific research papers, very complicated research papers. So it can really manage big and complicated files and cross-reference and pull very interesting insights. So that's very powerful. So first of all, we've allowed you to create an institutional memory. We've then allowed you to leverage that knowledge to get insights, get learnings, and improve as an organization. But now how can you leverage that to produce things like grant proposals and reports? So that's the next part. So we're going to jump here to grants, which is this section here. You can also search grants in here, which is amazing because it will list grants by how relevant they are to your organization. But let's quickly jump to generating a proposal because I want to show how you leverage a knowledge base to do this. So the first part is just uploading the request for proposal. So like an RFP, if you have one for a particular grant. Okay, grant, okay. So this is a maternal healthcare grant, so it's obviously relevant to this demo account that I've got set up because this is Emoja Health who work on the Safe Births program, which would be very relevant for a maternal healthcare grant. So if I go next, you see you can put custom instructions here. So this is just giving a prompt to the AI model to giving some power to you over how your data is processed into an output. That's how you can think about that. But then it's like, okay, well, what data do you want to use? So you're trying to, via the request for proposal, which has questions in it, and your instructions here, that's how the platform knows what it wants the output to be, what it's going to process into. But now the knowledge base is you're choosing, okay, well, what data do you want to use to then process into this output? So I hope that makes sense. But if for this particular grant, as I said, the Safe Births program is the most relevant to this. So I can just select all three of the Safe Births program knowledge bases and use those as the context that's going to be processed into the proposal. And then I just press finish and it starts to generate. These generations, they do take time. They can take 2 to 4 minutes, but that's because the amount of data that we're able to process. So if you've got like a very big knowledge base, there's a lot of context, and context you can think of as just amount of data. It's like the amount of data that the model is having to look at. But the context within this platform is the information on your organization, it's the stuff in the knowledge bases, it's proposals you've generated in the past, reports you've generated. So there's a lot of context management that goes into us producing an output, which is very different from how some of the generic AI tools work that don't manage context as well as we do. We really ensure we're very exhaustive in extracting all of your data as a first point. And then the way we manage all of that data to produce an output is a lot more in depth because we don't reference the web and outside sources, and we don't fabricate information. We're ensuring that the outputs are very much grounded on your data inputs. And the reason we do that is because we understand geo and impact organization workflows. The reliability of your output is extremely important, and you need to ensure that it's grounded in your data, not somebody else's data, not some random thing from the web, and not some kind of fabrication that an AI model has just decided to spit out via an assumption, hallucination, whatever you want to call it. So we're trying to protect for that. Because you'll notice that AI has done a lot of damage to trust in the NGO space and the impact reporting space because it's so easy to fabricate information. We're trying to become the trusted tool. When you tell an organization that you're using ReportsAI, they know that the outputs are based on your data. Nothing's fabricated. And anywhere where the model even makes a slight assumption, it gets highlighted in yellow, as you'll see here. And anywhere where it feels like it needs more information to answer a particular question, it will also highlight that in yellow and tell you. Because we're not ever going to produce a response for something we don't have data for. You have to have the data input, and we'll tell you that in the output if the data is not there. So that protects you against the big issues that have happened with a lot of these generic AI tools, where they're just fabricating information that's extremely damaging to trust. And trust is the currency of this sector, the impact sector, because you're relying on donor trust to continue funding and, again, the sustainability of your organization. So you see, you get a nice output like this. This is an editable doc. You can edit as a team. That's really what this platform is about, as well as having your whole team be able to collaborate on the output. We've got to producing your first draft, and now as a team, you can now collaborate on it. You can also use your additional team member, the AI chatbot, ask AI for any help that you need editing this. Use these shortcuts, change the tone, trim content, etc. Insert comments. You can do that as well. And it was very much like you can, similar to kind of Google Docs, you can operate as a team and really get this initial draft to where you want it to be. I'm going to come to converting later on when we do the reporting side of things. I think it's more interesting for that, but you can also export to Word, print, etc., like kind of standard stuff that you'd be able to do within a Word editor like this. So what's great is that all of these generations then get saved to my drafts. So I've got all of these saved drafts here. I can come here, go actions, chat with AI, rename, share. You can share with other people, request validation, archive, mark as final. So again, you're all collaborating as a team on your drafts that are all saved here in one place. That's what's really great about it. Rather than all these kind of back and forth on email, sharing via Google Drives, etc., it's just everything is centralized into one place, which is really powerful. And yeah, don't forget you've got your AI team member. So we go chat with AI here. We can say, how can I strengthen this grant proposal? And then we get a nice detailed response. And this is really powerful because, like, as a team, just to have the ability to just come to this chatbot and ask for feedback, it has context on the kind of proposals that you're doing. It has context on your knowledge bases. So it's going to give you very contextually relevant feedback on how you can improve these grant proposals. So you can see it's very in-depth. So I just think this is what we're trying to help with. You have the expertise as an organization. You're doing amazing work on the ground. How can we help you collect all that data on what you're doing and leverage it to produce insights, produce learnings, and then generate it into grant proposals, reports, and then also use AI to help you improve that. We're always trying to help you improve as an organization. And that, again, comes back to sustainability. You have to constantly be improving as an organization, whether you're for-profit or non-profit. Improvement is always important because you might not be trying to increase the amount of profit that you're making, but you're trying to increase the amount of impact that you're making. And that is just as important, if not more so. So that's the power of the draft functionality. So we're going to jump to reporting now so we can get into the exciting stuff, what this platform is really built for and what it's amazing for. This is the generate page, which you usually initially come to when you first log in. So just quickly, there's basically two types of generating reports. There's generating a report here, which is just, I would say, call it generating a report instantly. And then there's report projects. The difference is that if you're generating a report instantly, it means you already have the data ready to go. So if you already have the data that you need to generate a report, you can just come straight and upload the data here, or even choose the knowledge bases where the data is stored, because you can also use knowledge bases as a data source to producing a report. So if you already have the data, we can come straight here and generate instantly. Report projects, because we understand that in the NGO space, reporting doesn't usually start a generation, it starts a data collection. So report projects are all about helping you actually go out and collect the data that's needed to then generate reports. So there's task management in there. You can assign people tasks to collect data from them. You can, the way that we upload data is as notes, so you'll see it as notes. You can upload notes to tasks or upload notes to the project as a whole. And all of that data gets collected on that project over time. So let's say it's a Q1 report. You're collecting data over January, February, March. when you get to the end of that period, you've completed the task, you've added the relevant notes, then you generate the report. So you can see how that follows a more kind of typical impact organization workflow, where you need to plan the project, then collect the data over the period, and then generate the report at the end. So that's what that's built for. But first of all, I'm going to show you how to just generate a report instantly. So let's say we've got our data. So I've got a bunch of like mock data that I have. I've got an Excel file on beneficiaries reached. I've got a couple of rough field notes. I have some other field notes I think I made down here, narrative stories and more field notes. I'm just going to add all of those so it's got a decent amount of data to use. It's really like the quality of your outputs is always going to depend on the quality of your inputs with AI models. So you want to be giving enough context, enough data to get a long report out of the other side. Because we are always basing our outputs on your inputs. So if you don't give much input, you're not going to get much output, because this tool is never going to fabricate information. So just remember that when you're generating reports. So now you've got the data, and now you have to choose what do you want to process it into. So you can use our ready-made prompts here: narrative report, financial report, M&E report, annual report, impact story. Or you can come and actually create your own report types. So we have some that we've made. I've made loads because I'm always working with organizations on building report types for very particular needs, and you can make all kinds of ones. It's really up to you, like focus group summaries. It allows you to build a report type that is then like reusable for you each time you want to generate another report like that. You can be very, very specific in the details of how you want it to look, and then you can also set compliance requirements. So this is really important. In this platform, we're trying to help organizations have reliable and trustworthy outputs. So if you know that a certain type of report of yours, like a focus group summary, needs to meet certain compliance requirements, such as stating the questions asked and also stating how you manage to get a diverse group for your focus group, then it will ensure that it's always looking for that information in your data to put into the output of the report. If it doesn't find it in the data, then it's going to have the yellow highlighting say you need to specify the questions that were asked, or you need to specify how you manage to get a diverse group of people. And you can see that those kind of checks ensure that you've got reliable, high quality, trustworthy outputs in your reports, because if you don't provide the data that it needs, it's going to tell you to go get that. That's how we're trying to be the reliable and trusted platform for impact reporting. So just for the case of this example, I'm just going to do an impact story. Just quickly to touch on as well, there is also templates. So report type is a lot more about the structure and content of the output, like what do you want it processed into, whereas templates are a lot more about formatting. Like if you've got a very particular structure format that you need to adhere to. So I'll do 2 other videos on more drilling down into report types and templates more specifically, because so you can really get to understand them in detail. But just for an overview, a template is like if you have from a donor, they send you a very particular template structure of boxes that need to be filled out. Problem with most AI tools is that they always lose all the formatting. We're able to keep the formatting by you actually just build the template. You can import it from Word and then build the template and just populate that every time. So you can create all your different ones here and then reuse them. So they become like a reusable asset for your organization. So I'll do 2 other more in-depth videos on report types and templates, but that's just to give you an overview of how they work. This is how you've got your data input, and now you want to control what it's processed into out of the other side. And that's what you use report types and templates for. You don't have to select either. You can just use the prompt box. You can just select one if you just have a report type, or if you just have a template, you can just select a template. So it's up to you whether you want to use report type, template, prompt, or a mixture of the 3. It's basically you dictating how you want the output processed, what you want it processed into. All right, so now we are generating. So here now we have our report output. So report on emoji health program activities in Consumer County. We've got executive summary, background. You see it makes these really nice infographics as well. So just really to just bring your report to life, because we're trying to make your impact visible. So we need to make reports that are made to be read, ones that come to life, ones that really get your impact out there. So we make them with these infographics. You can come in here, still chat with AI to prompt and edit these as you want. So you can change any of those, crop, make edits. This is still just an editable doc. Again, you get the yellow highlights for anywhere where an assumption was made or where it feels like it needs more data. You again can use the AI tool to ask it to change sections how you want, or use the shortcuts like summarize this content, for example. Then you've got this team member, this AI team member, so don't forget to use them. Yeah, you make your edits in here. And then now that we're in the report part, I can show you the exciting convert to button, which I love this. So it's all about making your work reusable. I feel like within this space, so often the same work is getting repeated over and over again. People are rewriting proposals that are similar to past proposals, or they've got their long report and now they're trying to write a brief for it, or to turn it into a presentation deck because they now need to present that report to somebody. So you can just use the convert to button here and just reuse your data. Like, you've already done the great work. You can just reuse that and turn it into different outputs. So that's what this platform's great for. So if you want a quick brief to send to a manager, you've got one just as quick as that. And then the audio summary as well. I really like this because it's super realistic. Use some amazing AI text to speech models that make these super realistic, human-like audio summaries. So it's like having like your little analyst there who's already read the report for you and is now telling you about it. And then presentation deck. This one's really exciting too. You can give a title. If you've ever used Gamma before, we link into their API. You can give it a title, slide count, etc. I already generated one for this, so you can see it here. And you get a lovely presentation like this that's just summarizing the key points of that report. So this is really powerful if all of a sudden you've just finished your long report and then the manager says to you, actually, can you present these outcomes to me? Rather than scrambling to generate a pitch deck, you can have one ready to go literally in minutes, and it's as nice looking as this, and I feel like they're ready to use. So that's another really powerful feature of this platform. Again, we're just really trying to save organizations time and leverage the amazing work that they've already done to produce various outputs. So again, same as before, you can export to Word, insert comments, all of the typical stuff is going to be saved into your drafts. You can share, edit as a team, etc. So that is reporting when you're generating a report instantly. And just to note again, like, you can use report types, templates. You can also use knowledge bases as the data input into the report. You can also do financial reports, which are really powerful. So I made one of those with an Excel file on basically budget versus actuals, which is quite a common workflow for impact teams. So here you've got a financial report that we can just click into and have a quick look at. So yeah, again, you can see how like in depth the report types you can get out of this. It can save you huge amounts of time, and the infographics are really nice for just pulling all this data together. I think that's another powerful feature. So I just wanted to quickly note that we're really great at dealing with Excel files and extracting data from very complex Excel files, whether you've got like multiple tabs. The way that we are able to kind of get the context of the Excel file as a whole, what the different tabs mean, what different tables mean, and kind of cross-reference and pull insights is extremely powerful. So I really encourage you to try that out, because that's one thing that definitely saves people with just a huge amount of time and allows you to just pull out insights that you might never have even pulled out before. So yes, now that I've covered generating a report instantly, as I was saying again, that's when you've already have the data ready. Let's jump into report projects quickly. I have made also a longer video about report projects that explains in more detail. So I'm going to cover it a bit more lightly here in the meaning of time. But report projects are really powerful for actually how organizations tend to operate in practice. You can have all of your different projects here, see the due dates, see the owners. And what we're trying to solve for here is that so often, like, the the lack of one centralized system means that report deadlines often get missed, task deadlines often get missed, because everybody's kind of operating on email and maybe some WhatsApp chats, and it's quite easy to lose track of all the different report projects that you have. But now you can have them all in one place. Everybody can see the deadlines, and if you click into any of these, you have then got, okay, these are the tasks that have been created, these are days left. We can see where we've made 33% progress, we've completed one of three. You can see the notes that are uploaded. And when you're creating these report projects, you can even make them, like if it's a monthly report, you can make it periodic, so you can make it appear every month. If it's a quarterly report, you make it quarterly, or you make it yearly if it's yearly. And so then you're always going to see those projects appear again each period. And you basically add data to this over time. So you can come straight here, just add a note. So you see I've added a note before that one was to a task, but you can just come and add a note. You can write in text, so it could be something like, we conducted the field visits. The main outcomes were X, yada yada yada. You can just write that in and upload it as a note. But most often people are uploading files as notes, right? You'd upload, say, field notes like this. You would upload those and then add them as a note to the project or to the task. This is adding them just to the project as a whole. And what's great here is that you can also use audio files. So that's really powerful. We've noticed for many NGOs that we work with, the ability to add audio files, because so often out in the field, there's so much going on and you don't necessarily have good internet connection. So you can just walk around recording an audio note, and then you can even interview people on the field, and they could even speak in Swahili. Let's say you were speaking in English and they were speaking in Swahili. You can upload that note, and it's now, we're going to extract the data from it. Doesn't matter that someone's in Swahili and someone's in English. We can still extract that data and generate a report using that data, and it's all going to be in English. So you can play around with different languages, and I encourage you to do that, because that's a really powerful feature of this platform. So that's notes. That's where you're adding the data to the project over time. Tasks is if you want to kind of organize collecting data for the project. So this is a Q1 report, quarterly report. It's going to be periodic, gets generated each quarter. So it's a quarterly report, but let's say this particular one is for Q1. So the tasks that have been set of upload the monthly report for January, upload the monthly report for February, upload the monthly report for March. So you can see how you can organize the data collection over the life cycle of the project. If I click into this January one, I already uploaded notes to this before. So I uploaded some field notes for January. And I then marked the task as complete. So if I was the manager, I can see that somebody's uploaded notes and then they've marked this task as complete. If I want to check whether that actually is complete, I can also evaluate the task. So this evaluation happens automatically when somebody tries to mark the task as complete. And this is essentially the AI check that we do on your data to check, is it complete and relevant enough to complete this task? But that's for when you're actually completing the task, but anyone can come and evaluate the task at any time. So you get a summary, progress assessment. There haven't been any evidences added, but there were notes. It registers that. It registers that there hasn't been like an actual monthly report assigned. There's just some kind of rough field notes. There's not really a formal human story, but it does mention one mention of a human story that could be used, but isn't really like in depth. So then it gives you like how you could like risks and how you can improve, because there's some data accuracy problems, there's some missing content problems. So your colleagues and yourself are getting this instant AI feedback whenever you're uploading data. So you can think how powerful that is in an organization to ensure that all of your data is of high quality enough to actually go ahead and generate a report. So we're trying to ensure your data inputs are strong enough so that when we then come to generating them into an output, we can generate a very, very strong output that is fully grounded in your data inputs. So this is how we're trying to improve the quality of your reports and your grant proposals, but starting at data collection. So we allow you to organize all of your data collection and then get this AI feedback straight away on notes that are uploaded, so that you can understand, is the data really complete and relevant enough, and any ways that you can actually improve. So again, another way that we're trying to improve your impact reporting as an organization. So yep, that task, let's go back to the project as a whole and click back into this one. And I can see that there's other tasks that still need to be completed. So I wanted to click into this February one, which hasn't had notes uploaded yet. I could then, if I was the one completing this task, I could come and add notes, either write the note here or I can upload notes. Let's just do like rough field notes again. I only have some for January, but it's all mock data, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. And add that as a note. And then that's now added. You can add multiple notes to a task. And then, as I was saying before, if I now try and mark this as complete, as the person who's completing the task, then the AI evaluation happens by itself. So I'm instantly going to get feedback on how actually good was the data that you just uploaded to try and mark this task as complete. So you see, you get this assessment, suggested next steps, and you can see there's plenty of suggestions because the data was just some rough field notes. So, and actually look, why are field notes from January attached to a task of March 2026? You see how it catches these things out. This is extremely powerful for organizations. For just catching out small mistakes that happen on a day-to-day basis, this is really, really powerful. And again, that's how we're trying to increase the reliability of your reporting, the accuracy of your reporting, and the quality of your reporting. You can override as a user and just mark it as complete, but remember that the manager can always come in and run that evaluation again and see that feedback for themselves. So yeah, that's how it all looks within a report project. If I just go back to the project, because I just marked that as complete, you now see that we're making more progress. So it's amazing just for like task management, assessing all your different report projects, but most of all for checking the quality of your data inputs. You see how it caught out the March data uploaded to a January, the January data uploaded to a March task. Those things, it's very important for catching those things out and ensuring your quality of your data is high enough to then generate strong outputs. So you can, once you've completed all the tasks, or even if you haven't completed all of them yet, you can actually evaluate the progress of the project as a whole. So rather than just those task level evaluations, this is evaluating all of the tasks within the project as a whole. So you can basically get feedback on, are we really ready to generate this report? Is the data strong enough to generate us a report that is donor ready? And you're going to get that feedback straight away here. So here's the evaluation. Tells you what's been done, what's still in progress, what's missing, see what's at risk, key insights, recommendations. Even tells you who the field officer is who you should be contacting, and questions to clarify. So you can see how powerful that is, again, to let's ensure that your data is good enough before you generate a report. So that's what's really powerful about this platform and how it's really helping organizations to have high quality, high standard reporting. And then you can just basically generate the report here, which would work similar to the generating report instantly. It's going to take the data input as all of the notes and then process into the output that you suggested. So that you can choose just to use your own notes or use the team notes, which is probably more likely if you want to use the data that was also collected from your team members. You can give additional instructions, and then again, you choose a report type, or you can choose a template. And again, you can use any one of these three as well, or a combination of them, whether you want to use a bit of a prompt, a bit of a report type, a bit of a template. It's up to you. This is how you're going to choose how all of that data gets processed into an output. And then you would just click generate, and again, it's going to get saved into drafts, all the same as before. So that's a quick overview of report projects. But again, I'm going to have other videos on report types, other videos on templates, to really drill down into like how you actually build those for yourself, and then another detailed video on report projects to really show you like step by step how you can really utilize those. So that, you know what, is everything. And I really hope that you're starting to see just how powerful this platform can be for an organization. And we're already helping organizations just save huge amounts of time. You'll see that in the ROI calculator that I sent out that just shows the return on investment from getting this platform. And that return on investment is purely based on hours saved, because this platform allows people to save so much time. Every time you're referencing your knowledge bases, that's probably saving a worker a whole hour of having to go dig through loads of documents, cross-reference, and try and pull out an insight. Instead, they're getting it instantly. So that's an hour saved there straight away. Then when it comes to report generation, NGOs we speak to, they're usually spending about 10 hours on a report at least. They're using this platform, they're saving 10 hours, as usual, what we've been told as a rough estimate from various organizations we've spoken to. So if you take all of those time savings for all the reports that you generate per month and all of the pulling out insight savings that you also get, that's how we calculate your return on investment of using this platform. But that doesn't even take into account the improved quality of your reporting, the improved quality of your insights, and how it's helping you improve as an organization. We haven't even accounted for that in the return on investment numbers. So you can just see just what a deal this is, and just what how much benefit you can get from this as an organization. So any questions, feel free to reach out to myself or Mohammed, find out contacts, our website, or you can just go straight to our LinkedIn, like reports-ai.app is our website, or you go to ReportsAI on LinkedIn and you can find more information, and all of our other videos on how to use specific parts of the platform are available on our platform. It links to our YouTube channel where you can find all of those. It's ReportsAI is the YouTube channel. And yeah, that's where you can get more information. So I'm excited to talk to you more, find out about your particular workflows and how we can help you show your impact with confidence.